Hello, welcome back. So this week we're going to be making 4 different meals once again with my friend Claire and of course my little co-star Delilah, who always joins us, and you'll be seeing her popping around all over the place. So I'm going to go ahead and get started on my meal preps today. As you can see, we are in my kitchen. So we like to go back and forth and take turns. It's just easier that way, makes it fair for the both of us. And we usually, like I said, pick 2 meals. When she picks 2 and I pick 2, so that's a total of 4. And then that way we can kind of cater to each other's families and kind of just try different things, and so far it's just been working great. So what I'm going to be making this week is going to be a Cuban Picadillo, and it's going to be Instant Pot friendly, slow cooker friendly. You can even make it on top of your stove, but we're going to go ahead and make this into like a freezer meal, and then the idea is just to go throw it in the Instant Pot, heat it up. It'll be done in like 30 minutes, 20 minutes, and then voila, you have dinner. And then the second meal is going to be an Italian egg drop wedding soup, which I freaking love. My family loves the soup. It's kind of a recipe that I made up, so you won't really find it anywhere. It's like it's a fusion of Italian and a little bit of like Asian put together, but it's like the idea of the Italian wedding soup, if you've ever had that. And then I just kind of throw some eggs in there with some kale, and it's the idea of like from an Asian soup where you would use miso or something and drop an egg into it. Instead I use the kale. And then we're gonna have some bone broth for the liquid, so that's the soup. And then the other one is more of like a savory Cuban, if you like, a little bit of Latin flair. But that one's a really, really fun dish, and I like to eat it as a rice bowl. Family loves both those meals. I've been making them for a couple of years and they just absolutely love them. And then the meals that Claire is going to be making is basically like super easy and simple. It's like a shredded chicken, you know, Mexican inspired shredded chicken type of meal. You can make it with tacos, you can put it into salads. Super easy and simple, and we will definitely be showing you how we make that. And then the other meal that we decided, or she decided to make for her families from this recipe book. A lot of my recipes have been coming from this book lately, and the one that we're going to be using this week is the simple beef stew from this book, which is from the Predominant Paleo. And I love this book. It's Instant Pot friendly, and there's so many different recipes and ideas for breakfast, snacks. I mean, it's just lovely, and it's actually made me use my Instant Pot a little bit more because there's so many functions on them, you don't really know what to do, so this book kind of helps you with that. So I highly suggest that you get this book. I will leave the link to where you can order it off Amazon, so feel free to check it out. It's amazing. And yeah, this is what we're basically going to be making this week. Claire decided to make that, and so I'm really excited. I'm gonna go over and head over to my garden outside. I grow some veggies. Right now it's kind of a bare garden because we're coming into winter here, so I just have some bunch of kale growing, so that's where I'm gonna gather my kale and my herbs for my garden. So I'll take you really quick, show you a quick like tour of what I have, and then come back and then we'll start making we're gonna go ahead and start making the Italian wedding soup, so stay tuned. So here is my pickings from the garden. I got some thyme, I have some oregano, and then I have some rosemary, and then here is some kale. Don't mind the little like nibbled upon things. This is what happens when you have a garden. So what I'm gonna go ahead and do is I'm gonna rinse this off, chop all these herbs up, and then show you what else we'll be making. So here are the meatballs that I did. They're all done. There's one pan for me and then one pan for Claire. So I'm gonna cook them for maybe about 20 minutes at 375 in the oven. Okay, so now that the meatballs are in the oven, I have this egg drop wedding soup, and this is a cool little thing. I'll go ahead and link it below, but this is pretty cool. It keeps the bag open so I don't have to worry about fighting with it. I'm gonna get more of these because I only have one, but I think it's a pretty cool idea, and it's something handy to have, especially if you're gonna be freezer meal prepping. So here is all of the kale that I chopped up. So I'm just gonna go ahead and just throw this in here. And I'm gonna I did like one whole thing of this, but I would say if you go to the grocery store and you don't have a garden like I do, then probably one whole thing of kale will work. What this is gonna do is it's gonna cook down, and even if your kids don't like kale or you're not a big fan of kale, for whatever reason, when you cook it, it just kind of cooks it down to this like totally different texture, and it softens it up a whole lot. And so my kids love it. They're not huge fans of vegetables, even though I make them eat them, but they do love it. And like I said, this is one of their favorite dishes. My teenager loves it, my husband loves it, my toddler loves it, like all of them love it. And so this is something that you can kind of sneak the veggies in with. And then so that's all done. I added some herbs in there, the ones that I chopped from my garden. And then Claire, who's over here, she is joining us. She is chopping up some ingredients for the beef stew, right?
Yep.
So this is the potatoes.
Sweet potatoes, we've got zucchini, we've got shredded carrots, celery, and then I'll be cutting some onions up.
Yep, so we're gonna finish cooking and then I'll show you what else we make. So here is the Cuban Picadillo meat that I'm making. So like I said, I like to use half and half. So this is half ground beef and half ground turkey. And I added some, a tablespoon of this, garlic, which is this big old thing. So I added a tablespoon of that. But you can probably just add maybe about 2 cloves if you really like garlic, maybe 3 chopped cloves, minced. And then I sprinkled in some cumin, some paprika, and salt, and then good old pepper. And over here I have my little bags labeled and everything. And there's Claire's over there. And so I'm gonna pretty much just kind of cook this down and brown it, and then from there I'll add my tomato paste, which the recipe calls for, and then I'll add my olives to it and my capers. So I'm just gonna keep cooking this, and then I'm gonna show you what Claire's making and how she's progressing with the beef stew recipe and the chicken recipe.
Now we're doing the beef stew. In here I have the beef, and it's all chopped up. We're going to put in carrots, so half for me, and then half for Arlene. And we have celery. And then zucchini.
That looks good. This is a hearty fall recipe. Perfect time.
Lots of veggies going in here. Hopefully it's all gonna fit. This is both potatoes and sweet potatoes.
Where did you get these mats from?
I think I got them at Home Goods or TJ Maxx, one or the other. And they're great for camping too, if you like to camp and do cutting at the campsite. And then last, vegetables, onions. I'm making a mess here.
It's okay, we always make a mess.
Yeah. And then,
but one messy kitchen on one day is worth a messy kitchen every day, right?
Yay!
If I said that right. You guys know what I meant.
So then what I'm going to add next is going to be a tablespoon of olive oil. We do a cup of, 2 cups of the beef cooking stock, salt and pepper, paprika, garlic, onion. We have some tomato paste and bay leaves. And put that all in there and it's ready to go.
These are the meatballs. These are the meatballs that are all done. So I'm taking it out so that they can cool. And then I'm going to show you what it is that I'm adding to with Cuban Picadillo. So, yeah, over here is the meatball holding section, and then here I'm still working on the Cuban Picadillo. So what I did is I added a can of tomato paste, which I threw in the trash, but just to get a small little can. And then you're gonna wanna add the tomato paste, and once you're done adding all that paste, you're gonna wanna add, fill up that same can with water, and then throw it in the water there, so that way it kind of becomes like this. So this is kind of the consistency of the tomato paste, and then when you throw in the water, it kind of makes it into like a little tomato sauce type of mixture. And then I just got some frozen bell peppers because that's just easy and I didn't feel like chopping, but you can go ahead and grab at least maybe 2 bell peppers if you want, whatever is your favorite color or choice or whatever, and add that and then cook that along with the meat. And then here are some capers. So I'm gonna get a tablespoon of capers, and I'm gonna throw that into one for me and then one for Claire. I'm just gonna go ahead and finish it off. And then I actually like to throw the caper juice in there because it kind of gives it a nice kick, because it's like a brine, and so it gives it this like little ethnic type of flavor. And then the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to chop up these olives, and so I'll do half for me, half for Claire, and then I'll just chop them up, throw them in here, and then continue to cook everything down, and then that's pretty much the recipe for the Cuban Picadillo. So the picadillo is all done. I added some olives to it. We have green olives and a little bit of black olives. And then I have some thyme here. They're just sprigs because when it cooks in the Instapot, these little leaves will fall off, and then you'll just be left with the stems, and you can just pick the stems out. And so there's Claire's and there's mine, and this is all done. Super easy to make, very flavorful. I really think you guys will like this. And so now I'm gonna show you our fourth meal.
So now I'm ready to put all the stuff together for the chicken fajita shredded chicken. Right now there's just chicken in here. We're gonna put in fajita seasoning. Any kind of salsa you want. I went with a green chili salsa. We have onions and celery here. Super easy recipe, you freeze it. You can make rice, beans, put it on corn tortillas, flour tortillas, however your family likes it. Add some shredded cheese. It's a huge hit in my house. So I'm gonna dump this in. Try not to make a huge mess. I love these cutting boards. Make life kind of easy.
I will find some and I'll link them below, but I'm pretty sure there's, I'll have to look at the back. It'll probably say what brand it is.
Actually, I think I'm gonna put the seasoning in first.
We like these with on tostada shells too, but they're pretty good.
That's exactly.
And I've even made it into a quiche because I came home one day and I was like, oh, I only have this meat, and I had eggs, and so I made a quiche.
Oh,
or like a frittata.
Yeah, great idea. I mean, look how easy this is. It's like super fast.
Literally took like a minute.
Seriously, the hardest part was chopping. I mean, that's it. So there we go. There's mine and there's Arlene's.
And I want to add, you don't need to add chicken broth to this because when this chicken freezes, what it's going to do is going to create like its own broth when it defrosts inside the Instapot or the slow cooker. So if you're going to be making this, like you're just going to zip this up and put it in your refrigerator and make it within the next 2 days or something, then you're going to want to add some broth. I would say maybe probably about 2 cups of broth, because you're not making a soup out of it. You just want it to be shreddable and then have some like liquid just to kind of, it's not all dry or anything like that. But pretty much that's it, and we are done with that meal. And then I'm gonna move on to the meatballs, finish up that recipe and show you how that looks. Yay. Okay, so here is the egg drop wedding soup. So here I have all of the meatballs all done and cooked, and then I already stuffed the kale, as you guys saw. So what I did is I added more of this Mrs. Dash garlic and herb seasoning. If you have the Flavor God seasoning, that is really amazing. They have a lemon garlic one, but I ran out, so this is my like backup whenever I run out of that. And the reason why I added this spice to this is because I'm gonna add this chicken broth to this. And the chicken broth isn't really flavored. This was actually partially soup, but I'm gonna go ahead and use it for this recipe. But yeah, this isn't really flavored. So you wanna add some flavor to the broth because most of the flavor's in the meat, and you kinda wanna match it and balance it out. So I added some, a little bit more garlic, and then I added this powder. And then I added a little bit more herbs to this. So I just left some herbs that I was chopping earlier. I left a little bit off to the side, and then I just threw all in this bag. So everything is basically all in this bag. And then now I'm just gonna add these meatballs that were all done cooking. This is an amazing gluten-free recipe because I did not use any flour. I didn't use any egg to kind of keep the balls together. I know some people will add that to their balls, but I don't, because I find that my balls, they hold very well. But if you do need to add anything like that, and if you just have to add some type of flour, and if you're a gluten-free or paleo or anything like that, or even keto, you can add almond flour, and that will kind of help keep the ball together. But for the most part, I find that I don't have an issue with that, and they still taste really good, nobody complains, and we all like them. So I'm gonna go ahead and just do this, because now I'm gonna pour in the broth. So one whole thing of this, just pour it in. And then from here, I'm gonna take this off, zip it up. So, how you make this into an egg drop soup is once you're done cooking it in your Instant Pot, you can even go ahead and just take this and cook it on a stove, like a cast iron Dutch oven or anything like that. And you can cook it on that and just reheat it up, or you can put it in your Instant Pot, cook for about 20 minutes. Once it's done cooking and you see that everything's all nice and done, the broth will be really hot, so then you're gonna scramble 2 eggs. Pretty much you could do 3, but I like to do 2 because then it kind of becomes too eggy. So you're gonna scramble that in a bowl, and then you're gonna pour that into the broth, and then stir that around, and then you're gonna see the eggs start to cook. And so that's pretty much how it becomes an egg drop. And so this is it, it's all done and ready to store in the freezer. All right, here are our meals. So this is egg drop wedding soup. I don't have any liquid in mine because I'm gonna add it later, save me some freezer space. The Cuban Picadillo, and then we added actually some cilantro because I had some left over to the shredded chicken fajitas. And then this is the beef stew. So I hope you guys really liked what you saw. Let us know how you like it. If you have any questions, let me know in the comment section below. And don't forget to like and subscribe to my YouTube channel if you find this inspirational, and also feel free to share this as well. Follow my blog at www.littlewellnesscorner.com. And then I'll be linking all the handy dandy tools that we used in this recipe in the description box. So thanks for watching, and thanks Claire for joining us again. And so we'll see you next week. So take care. Ciao.